Yeehaw, buddies, we're down in Nashville. What's up, my dudes? We got a little track review on the 2023 RF Pro Nashville Supercross track on MX Sim. Okay. So, yeah, I just reviewed last week's track, the East Rutherford track. I was actually pretty impressed by that one. That seemed to be one of the better ones of the year. It had a lot of big rhythms on it. It had quite a bit of skill gap on it. The scaling on it just felt right to me. And in that video, I said, you know, they're probably not going to keep up that energy. They're probably going to come out with their next track, and it's going to go backwards again and be more like a amateur track with smaller jumps, smaller rhythms, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And what do you know? That's exactly what this track is right here. So I messed up on these rhythms just to show you what you can do on them and not crash. Okay, I had to show you a little bit. Just take a little look at that. Let me just show you this little sequence right here. Like, this just shouldn't happen. Period, RF. Just take you boys a little look at this right here. So I jump this, come up a little short, perfectly fine, just bounce off of that. Jump this, come up short, perfectly fine, bounce off of that. Like, RF, this should not be possible on a pro AMA level replica supercross track. I should not be able to get through the rhythm section by jumping it the worst way that you possibly could. Okay? That right there goes to show you that your jumps are too small, height-wise, distance-wise, everything about the jumps are too small. Rhythm section jumps on this track. In fact, I can come up short, bounce up off of that, jump up, case this triple as bad as you humanly possibly can, bounce off of that, and I'm still fine. That's a problem. That means that your track is a amateur track. It's not a pro-level track. That's kind of the proof in the pudding right there. When you can mess up on the rhythms that much and you don't crash off of the bike, yeah, that's the proof in the pudding right there, guys. For some reason, it just seems like the majority of their tracks this year have been more of that amateur difficulty kind of feeling. And then they've had, like, I would say probably 3 or 4 of their tracks this year that have actually felt like full-blown pro-level supercross tracks. This one just happens to be one of them that feels more like an amateur track to me. There is a crazy kind of jump right here where you can jump really hard into the corner. By the way, this is my literal first 10 laps on the track ever. So that's why you see me kind of going all over the place. I did not want to ride very many laps on this track. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So, yeah. I just can't believe how much you can... Look at that. Come up totally short on this triple, and you can still get the speed. Look at this. I cased this triple right in the middle. Still had the speed to jump the last triple. RF, what are you doing, bro? What the hell is this? Look at this. I can land on that and not pop off the bike. It's just like, bro, I wanted to keep all of these, like, coming up short on the jumps, you know, almost crashing kind of moments here just to show you what you can do on a track like this without crashing. It's just mind-boggling. Like, you shouldn't be able to mess up that bad in a rhythm section on a dirt bike simulator, for God's sakes, and still be able to hit the triples. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Who the hell built these jumps, man? And then to be able to come up short like that, I promise you, there is about a 420% chance that you would have popped off coming up short like that on a big double like that on any of the tracks in the game before they started doing the Erode system and making the dirt really soft. That's why this track is like this. That's why you can come up short on the jumps and still get through them. That's why you can jump a 80-foot double and come up short on it and not pop off the bike. It's because the dirt is so soft. It's what I've been saying this whole time. It's like even if they made the jumps bigger, I feel like their biggest problem is, to me, it almost seems like they have over-perfected the traction. They've over-perfected the feeling of the dirt. That's what it feels like to me. That's the biggest problem I've noticed with a lot of these MX Sim tracks. Bro, you just come up short everywhere. Like, it really don't even matter, dog. It really don't even matter. This is not a pro Supercross track. This is we're too caught up in making a one-to-one scaling replica track with way too soft, over-perfected feeling to the dirt where there's not really any negative to the traction. That's basically what it feels like to me. It's like there's just no negative to it, man. You know how normally, like on a lot of your other normal tracks in the game, excluding these RF built around a road, soft, loam tracks, you know what I'm saying? There's typically like some kind of negative to the feeling of the dirt. It's either like a little bit slick, or it's made in a way to where you might, you know, if you try to turn the bike too sharp, it'll upset the bike a little bit, or if you come up short, you know, you'll pop off because it's got like a hard, packy feeling to it. But this kind of dirt feeling, this kind of traction, and this is the same kind of traction they've been using for a minute now, it's literally like there's no negative to it at all. It's like too perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's like the bike is never trying to get out of shape on you. Like, it's never trying to spin out on you, no matter how hard you get on the gas. You can come up short on anything. You can go across the whoops like they're nothing, like they're almost not even there. And that's because of all of the little settings that they've done with this specific traction tile map dirt feeling to the game. You know, that creates more of the actual skill gap and pop-off system and almost affects the entire physics of the game. To be honest with you, like, the feeling of the dirt is everything. I mean, and that's the problem that they're running into. You know, they can make these jumps as big as they want to. They can make the whoops as big as they want to. They can do whatever with the actual terrain and the obstacles, but if there's no negative to the actual feeling of the dirt, if it's, you know, you're never really spinning out everywhere, it's got this weird feeling to me, like if you compare the feeling of the dirt of a lot of these 23s to like the 2017s, it's like the bike almost holds itself up more in this kind of dirt feeling. It's like the bike's not trying to get out of shape on you if you're like leaning too far over. It's like you've got the perfect amount of traction all the time, regardless of what you're doing on the bike, but also it's got the perfect amount of softness to where you're never really gonna pop off of the bike unless you're literally trying to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just bizarre to me, man. I don't know. I can't figure out what they're doing with the feeling of the dirt on these tracks, man. I just cannot figure it out for the life of me. But that's really the core of the problem here. Yeah, these jumps are super short, super close together. The whoops, yeah, they seem like they're bigger, but like I say, it's like when you over perfect the feeling of the dirt, it makes everything easier. It makes going across the whoops easier because, you know, you've got all that traction and you've got all that softness to the dirt to where the bike's not going to try to like step out on you as much in the whoops. It's not going to try to get out of shape as much on you on the whoops. You're not going to feel like you're really hitting as big of whoops when the dirt is this soft. You know, it's all of those kind of things that plays a part. Like this kind of a jump rhythm right here, you wouldn't be able to come up short on it like that and still get through it. You would have crashed right there had this dirt been like actual normal dirt. But it's not. It's some weird, over-perfected, no negative to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is definitely something some of you boys need to realize. that are really into this game, it's something that you can't even necessarily see with the naked eye. Like if you're just looking at the jump rhythms and the whoops and some stuff like that, you're probably thinking to yourself, I don't see too big of a problem with that, you know, like looks pretty good to me. But when you compare the feeling of the dirt and the softness of the dirt and the traction of the dirt to like a 2017 or something like that, it's just like not even comparable. It's like, I want there to be something to the feeling of the dirt that makes it challenging. You know, I don't want the dirt to just feel like I can do anything on the bike and never crash off of the bike. You know what I'm saying? And I hope this gameplay kind of shows that off to you a little bit, how you can do anything. It don't even matter. Come up short, over jump, hit the gas, you know, go crazy in the whoops. It just really doesn't matter anymore what you're doing on the bike. And I almost feel like that's kind of what they've done on some of those 2023 MX Bikes aerial Supercross tracks. It's like they've over-perfected the feeling of the dirt. They've over-perfected the tractions. You know, there is a limit that you can reach. I know it seems like the goal should be, let's just try to make the track feel better. You know, let's try to make the dirt feel better and less janky. You know, let's try to make it feel more smoother when you're going around the corners, or feel like you're not sliding out or losing traction everywhere. Yeah, that's good and all, and that should be your goal, but there is a limit there. There is a point you will reach of diminishing returns. There is a point that you eventually reach where you've made the traction and the feeling of the dirt so perfect to a point to where it don't even feel like normal dirt anymore. You see what I'm saying? Like, you get to a point where you've got the best positives and benefits of every aspect of the way the dirt can feel, that it like just lowers the skill gap of the game. It lowers, you don't have to have anywhere near the throttle control on these tracks like you would have had to have had in the 2017s. The dirt feels so much softer. The finish line feels pretty cool. It kind of feels like you're actually jumping up in the air pretty good. You know, this little spot right here is okay because there's kind of like a little quad right here. I don't really know how much faster that actually is to hit that, but man, I'm telling you, like the normal rhythm section jumps on this track, like literally an amateur could get through this shit with no problem, bro. I'm talking no problem at all, big dogs. Like it ain't no big deal at all for an amateur to get around a track like this. It's just confusing to me what RF, I just can't figure out their mindset. Can't figure out why they continue to do this, where they'll go back and forth between this, you know, super easy track designs, and then they'll make something that feels more like an actual pro level track. Then they'll go back to making something that's like an amateur difficulty track. Then they'll go back to making something that's a full-blown pro level track. It's just weird. It just seems to me like RF just still has not really figured out what they're doing, what they want to do with this shit. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think, but they're starting to get their better looking ground decals back again. I'm definitely happy about that. The different tracks start to have an actual different color to the dirt, at least at the bare minimum. There was a time there where, swear to God, it was like all the tracks in the year basically had the same color of dirt, just like last year, like a couple years ago. So at least thank Pastrana that we at least get some different looking dirt colors here. But yeah, this is just one of those tracks, I get bored of it in 5 seconds, man. Like, literally 5 seconds, man. There's just, I don't know. That's definitely something, though. I hope that a lot of you dudes that are really serious, you know, top 5 RF 450 Pro dudes, you should know exactly what I'm talking about when I say stuff like, they have over-perfected the feeling of the dirt. They've over-perfected the traction of these tracks. And it's just got it to a point where it's like, it don't even feel real to me anymore. It's like, You know, normal dirt in real life, I mean, it is very rare that you get like an absolute 100% perfect balance between dirt that has the right amount of traction, with the right amount of softness, with the right amount of loam feeling, with the right amount of, you know, not too much friction. You know, that is very rare that they actually get on a track that is quote unquote perfect dirt. But basically what RF is doing here is they're making every track like that. They're making every single track that they make feel like that. You see the problem that I'm talking about? It's like some of these tracks should feel more hard-packed or more dry and slick kind of feeling. I'm not saying you got to make it like a 2012 level slick, but every track should not feel like perfect dirt. Every track should not feel like the absolute most perfect combination of the, you know, roll resistance and friction and traction and you know, cushion. Every track should not feel like that. You're losing your substance. You're losing your variation within the different tracks of your series. When you make every track feel the exact same, that's a problem. And that's exactly what you're doing here. But yeah, these are like about the smallest jumps that you could have possibly made on a pro level replica Supercross track. I'm really confused by that. But yeah, guys, either way, RF is still on their bullshit here. I mean, it's just like the second that I start to praise them, they'll go back to something that I feel like is dog water.